Hey guys, and welcome to the third and final part of my 2-year anniversary. This video is going to be about my history of video games, including consoles and certain games that made an impact on me. Just as a side note, I'm sorry if my voice sounds a bit weird because I'm not feeling too amazing. So, yeah. Anyway, let's get started. When my parents bought a computer for the first time in 1998, with it they got about 5 or 6 free games, and one of them will become my first personal favourite game of all time at that moment in my life. Little Big Adventure 2, or LBA 2 for short. I fell in love with this game and played it constantly. However, there was a major problem with the copy I had, and I'm not sure if this was just because the game came with the computer for free, but at a certain part of the game, about just under a quarter of the way through, you get put in prison, and your elf friend talks to you. Then this police officer sees you both in one cell and opens it to separate you. Well, my copy had a bug in it where the game would always freeze at the part just after the elf talks to you. But before the police officer opens the door. This always upset me because I love the game so much and I would have liked to play the rest of the game. However, I don't know how, but my mum managed to fluke it and got past the bug. She completed the game while I watched her, and I told her to make an extra save file for me when she got past the bug, so I could play the rest of the game. She forgot, however, and it wasn't until I got another copy of the game about 8 years later that I finally completed the game myself. Even with that bug though, and knowing I wouldn't have been able to get past a certain part, I still always played it and consider it my favourite game of all time along with 2 others. I plan to let's play the prequel to this game, LBA 1, at some point in the future, seeing I only played that last year. Unfortunately, I don't know if I'll ever be able to let's play LBA 2, since the copy of LBA 1 I have is a PS1 port of the PC version, and LBA 2 is only available for the PC. And due to technical problems from when I have tried to record it, it's looking unlikely that I'll ever be able to record it. I should also quickly mention that the games are called Twinton's Adventure / Relentless for LBA 1 and Twinton's Odyssey in for LBA 2 in America. With the Christmas of 2002 came my first console, the PlayStation 1. I fucking just over this thing right away since it came with both Harry Potter's out at the time, Crash Bandicoot and Gran Turismo 2. I loved all these games and played them to death. Although the PS2 was out at the time, my parents didn't really see the difference between the PS1 and 2, apart from the fact that one had a 2 on the end. I was also supposed to share it with my sister, but did I balls. However, that isn't the case here. I got the PS2 in Christmas of 2003, and I still have it even today. It's definitely got on in years and it struggles to play quite a few discs, but it's hanging in there and it's the second oldest console that I own. I played many great games on the PS2 over time and I sold most of them, but they were that great that I bought most of them back years later. I'm also a proud owner of the limited edition 10th Rayman Anniversary compilation. It's not too rare, but I'm still glad I have it after all these years since getting it in 2005. Overall, my PS2 is amazing, I don't have too much to say about it, but it's no wonder the PS2 is the fastest selling console and best selling console of all time. For my birthday in 2003, just before I got the PS2, I received my first handheld, the Game Boy Advance SP. I was excited for this for months before my birthday because of the obvious fact that it was going to be my first ever handheld console. When I first received it, I was pretty disappointed with it. Not the console, but the game I got with it, Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase, one of the worst games I ever played. Luckily later in the day, my nana brought round a Crash Bandicoot 2 N-Trance, which I loved and regret selling quite a few years ago. A few days later, however, I went into town to spend my birthday money, and I picked up Sonic Advance 2 and then Pokemon Ruby. Pokemon was going out of fashion around where I lived, and I lost interest in it when everyone else did. However, I had seen some people in the playground play Red and Blue when it was popular, and Gold and Silver, and I really wanted to try out the game, so that's why I got Ruby, and my lord did I love it. It was constantly my GBSP, and if it wasn't for Emerald coming out in 2005, it would be my favourite game of all time next to LBA 2 and one other. Over time I played many games, although the majority of them were Pokemon ones, like Fire Red and Emerald. The GBA is a fantastic handheld console, possibly the best library of games Nintendo has ever had on one of its handheld series. Then my next console I added to my collection was my Nintendo GameCube. I literally only got this console so I could play a 3D Pokemon game, which was XD and Colosseum, since I only found out at that moment in time that I could only get Pokemon games on Nintendo hardware. Soon enough though, the GameCube took over my PS2 spot as my most played home console, since you get most of the games on the PS2 for the GameCube, as well as the Nintendo exclusives. Speaking of which, this is also the first time I played a Mario game. Quite an unusual one to start off with, but it was Mario Party 4, which I gushed over. The GameCube was fantastic, and even though I use it for my Game Boy recordings nowadays due to the Wii, I'm glad I got to experience the GameCube before it was discontinued. The next console I received was a Nintendo DS, the fat one. I got it in Nintendogs, Sonic Rush, and another game I can't exactly remember. Oh no, it was Monster House, that's the one. God, that was a shit game. Much like the GameCube, I only wanted a DS to so I could get Pokemon Diamond / Pearl when it came out. However, the DS had so many more great games than just the Pokemon ones, with Zelda titles like Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks, as well as Scribblenauts and Akamiden. About 2 years after I got the DS, I got the DS Lite, and then for about 3/4 of the year after that, I got a DSi, and then I missed out on a DSi XL as I saw it was a bit pointless. The DS family of consoles are fantastic, and even though I think the GB had a better library overall, the DS was more powerful and a step in the right direction for Nintendo. Even if the DS did stay overstay its welcome as Nintendo's sole handheld on the market, it was around for 7 years. That's a long time for a console to be on the market without any upgrades to the next generation of consoles. A year later, I received my Nintendo Wii after I became a loyal Nintendo customer and fan after loving their previous consoles. However, this is the family's Wii, so it was kept downstairs. Just one of the many bad reasons that Nintendo aimed this at families and casual players. However, in 2008, I did get it to move to my room and call it my own, as none of my family played in it except me. My stepdad brought his own round, and they used that if they wanted to play a Wii. The Wii is also home to my third tied first favourite game of all time. Alongside LBA 2 and Pokemon Emerald, Xenoblade Chronicles is the last game I consider to be my favourite game of all time. Although I think the Wii is the worst console that Nintendo has made, that's only because of the reputation it's got and the demographic they were aiming at. It still has a handful of great games, but it's dominated by shitty third-party titles, and overall I don't blame people for selling their Wiis nowadays, because no one plays them, and the Wii's hasn't been active really since 2010. It was 4 years since I received the brand new console, since the DS Lite and company didn't really class it as brand new consoles. The 3DS, however, was a brand new console, and boy is it awesome. Although it had a shitty launch, I got it at the perfect time, the day Ocarina of Time 3D came out. I had an awesome game and a decent game, which was Super Street Fighter 4, but it was just before the price dropped, so I got the Ambassador program. However, the 3DS has been blessed with great titles this past year, with a lot of great ones still to come. This is just not another DS with a 3D stuck on. It is a next generation handheld with so much more online features than the DS series, as well as more high quality games. Well, that's my history of video games and the end of my 2-year anniversary. Thank you for enjoying these 3 past videos, and I hope to get back to regular updates as soon as possible, so I shall see you then.